Went to uni, came back, and I sort of realised the importance of sport and activity, particularly for well-being as well. Running up on that beach is just a feeling I will never forget. Throwing and catching a ball took me a bit of time. You look at the numbers we're getting now, and it's great to see like the club looking really healthy again in terms of numbers and people that we're getting down to training.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Sportscast Jersey. Today we are joined by Alice Harvey, who is a water polo player but an all-round sports fanatic as well. How are you doing, Alice?
Hi Dan, yeah, great, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Good. No problem at all. With all my guests, I kind of ask the same first kind of question, and that is, have you always been into sport since a young age growing up?
So actually, not really. When I was sort of primary school, even in secondary school, I wasn't massively into sport. Like I was always the one that dreaded PE lessons and would ask my parents to write me notes for the most ridiculous excuse to try and get me out of something. It was actually my brother that was like the more sporty one of the two of us. But as time went on and like went to uni, came back, and I sort of realised the importance of sport and activity, particularly for well-being as well. And that's when I really got into it. Like I have always been a swimmer, but I think I just started taking it a lot more seriously, like in my later teens and in my 20s as well.
Yeah. What was obviously you touched on there, swimming was always something you were into. What was that your first sport or proper sport that you took part in?
Yeah, I'd say so. It kind of goes back in the family, really. So my mum has always been a swimmer, and she did her like swimming teaching qualifications and things. So she always said like me and my brother had to get to a certain level in our swimming lessons before we were allowed to give up. Um, my brother did and went on to other sports, but I actually it was the one thing I did stick with. So that has been the one consistent thing in my life. And yeah, probably something I don't think I could live without.
Yeah. I want to touch on running as well. Obviously, in recent years, I saw you at the Jersey Marathon. You were doing it at the same time as me and miles ahead of me this year. But um, how much do you enjoy running and that side of sport as well?
Yeah, so again, running, it's all about the headspace. I'm sure you probably agree with that, sort of going out running yourself. It's just nice to be able to get outside and explore Jersey as well, like doing some of the trail runs. I've run in places I didn't actually know existed, or haven't been to for years. So it's just really nice to get outside, meet other people, do the races, and the thing I like about the trail runs as well, there's not always that like competitive element to it. You can just turn up, you can enjoy it. So yeah, there's so many aspects to it. And as time's gone on, running has also become quite a big part of my life as well. So it's trying to balance the running and the swimming.
Yeah. And one of the points I put down here on those two kind of sports and what have you, what are your highlights in those sports? Let's start with swimming first of all.
So swimming, I think, is probably quite an obvious one for me, and a lot of people who know me. So I swam the English Channel about 6 years ago now. It's 2018, but I think that's kind of seen as the Everest of swimming, if you like. So actually being able to achieve that was quite something. I look back at it now, and when you look at a map and the distance between England and France, and you're like, I swam that.
Yeah, yeah,
It's yeah. Sometimes I don't even believe it myself.
yeah,
But yeah, that was a pretty special day.
yeah. Quick question on that, and obviously it's special. It's a tough challenge to say the least. Um,
Yeah.
what kind of got you through that? Obviously, I would imagine there'd be walls in the way and what have you mentally. So, what kind of got you through that, and what was the feeling when you did reach the other side?
Yeah, so I think I approached training quite well. There was lots of other people training for the channel and other swims that year as well. So I had a good group of people to train with. So I actually enjoyed that element of it and the build up to it. Um, and then on the day itself, I think just having that positive attitude, thinking, yes, I'm going to get to France. And my crew as well. My crew were fantastic. So they were really, really positive and helpful and shouting abuse at me. But it's one of those things that gets you through because it gives you something to look forward to. And like I would stop every hour, or not stop, but like tread water, and they throw me a drink from the boat. And they just would say the most ridiculous things. They were giving me challenges to do. So it's all that. It just makes the fun of it, and it's fun for them on the boat as well. Yeah, so definitely, just it's having the right people around you, I think, as well. But yeah, and just I remember getting closer, and one of the guys jumped into the boat, into the water with me to swim the last section. So I knew I could see him getting ready on the boat, and I was like, "Yes, I'm there."
Yeah,
So yeah, just running up on that beach, just a feeling I will never forget. Like I'm
yeah,
getting goosebumps thinking about it now. So
yeah.
yeah.
How much, obviously, with training and with the right mindset and knowledge, but how much would you encourage others to take part in that kind of challenge and have a go themselves?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's so important to have or set yourself challenges, because you never know what you can achieve if you don't. I could have just carried on swimming, training with the club, and doing little things around the island. But if you don't set yourself those goals, you never know what you're actually capable of. And the human body amazes me, like in all sorts of sports and watching other athletes as well. It's incredible what you can achieve when you put your mind to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Back on land running wise, what has been your kind of standout moment, standout race for you?
Um, I would say probably the most recent Jersey Marathon. I engaged with a coach, so I had a proper training plan rather than just following one that I'd kind of made up or adapted myself. Um, so doing that and really sticking to it, I got a huge PB. Although frustratingly, I was 50 seconds off of sub 4. So I was like, oh, gonna have to go and do it again.
Yeah, amazing and amazing. Just that time on, like, it was a hot day. It was my
It
first
was, I think,
marathon, but it was a hot
yeah.
day, and yeah, amazing, amazing. How much would you encourage? Obviously, there seems to be a lot of people starting up running now at the moment, and obviously, you got to go through the stages of 10K, half marathon,
Mhm.
marathon, what have you. But how much would you again encourage people to take on that challenge and go for a marathon or ultra marathon?
Yeah, again, it's all about the people, and I find like the process and just going along to training sessions, and runners are a very friendly bunch, and they'll love a long training run just so you can go for a chat and put the world to rights. Really, I've definitely done that on quite a few of my long training runs. But yeah, and there's so much out there as well. You think like all the local clubs in Jersey now. You've got Park Run, which is such a welcoming atmosphere. um, yeah, and all the runs and events that the local clubs and groups put on, I think there actually is something for everyone. Like even on marathon day, you've got the mile for the little kids, then you've got the relay, which is all different distances. So if you get a group of you together and someone's like, oh, I don't want to run that far, like, okay, you can do the first section, and then someone's like, oh, I want to do the long one, and it's perfect. Like it
Yeah.
really does suit everyone, I find.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. Right, let's move on to why we're here and kind of water polo and what have you. When did that? Obviously, you're into your swimming already. When did the water polo come into it, and when did you think, oh, let's have a go at that?
So water polo I actually picked up when I went to uni, and it's like, yeah, I've always been a swimmer, but I've never been competitive. And then when I went to uni, like the swimming and water polo club, they had the competitive element for swimming, or they just had social swimming. And I was like, I'm kind of in the middle. And then they were like, oh, we've also got water polo. And I thought, well, do you know what? I've seen the guys play in Jersey. kind of know what it's about. Like, I'll give it a go. I can swim, that's a good start.
Yeah.
So yeah, jumped in, and it kind of just started from there. Just yeah,
Were
adding
you,
a ball in.
yeah, what were you a natural from the start? We're obviously swimming with a ball.
So I think I'd say natural in terms of some of the skills you need. So obviously swimming is one. You do a lot of egg beater, obviously, because it's played like if you're in the swimming pool or open air, then you're in deep water. So being able to tread water and do that egg beater movement is quite crucial. So I could do that. So I'd say natural in that sense, but throwing and catching a ball took me a bit of time.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd probably say I'm still not perfect. In fact, I'm definitely not perfect. But
Yeah,
I've definitely improved over the years.
yeah, definitely. And for those who might not know water polo or have only seen it a few times or never seen it at all, can you just explain kind of the rules and the basics of the sport?
Yeah, so you've obviously got two teams. You can have 13 people on a team, but you only have 7 players in the water at one time. One of them is your goalie, but you can sub in and out. So you can sub your players like when a goal is scored, or when at the end of a quarter. So we play 4 quarters. Generally, a quarter is 7 minutes, but if that's going to be different, you kind of agree that with the team you're playing against before the match. And yeah, so it's generally one-on-one when you're marking. It's quite a fast-paced game, so you're constantly watching where the ball's going. Has it changed possession? If it has changed possession, you've got to sprint back up the pool to your end and defend. You can get fouled, so there's lots of little rules. Some I'm still not even sure on. But you get minor foul, which is where the possession would go to the other team, or you get a major foul, which is where you like full on like swim over someone and dunk them, and then you get sent out for, I think it's, is it 20 seconds, and then that goes into like what's called a man up, man down situation, where the team that still has 6 players in the water can sort of take advantage of having the extra person. So we practice that in training quite a lot because people do get sent out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a fun game. And just you like recently, well, I'm sure you'll ask me more questions in a minute, but we've got a really good group of ladies that have been coming to training, and it's been really nice to get to know them, and we're starting to learn how each other play. So actually, when that goes into a game situation, it is obviously going to work to our advantage. So yeah, no, it's really good.
Yeah, definitely. And we will come more onto that and how the sport is looking for the ladies at the moment. But I want to go back to when you first started at uni and how was that experience and how much did you enjoy playing over there?
Yeah, again, really good experience. I went to university in Plymouth, and they were just building the new Life Centre swimming pool, which is where like Tom Daley trained and all the Plymouth divers, which are quite well known. So the facilities, like in my second year, were fantastic. It was amazing. So yeah, just having that and having a good team. And again, we had a coach that came and helped us. And we got better as time went on. And by the time we got to my third year, I actually captained the team. And the improvements I'd seen in the girls that I played with and myself as well was like incredible. We didn't always win, but sort of playing some of the teams that we had played previously, we were of much better standard, and we weren't losing by quite a big margin.
Yeah. Is that key? You say you're a captain, and is it key to enjoy who you're playing with as much as and the improvements that they're showing just as much as the results sometimes in these sports?
Yeah, that's it. And just like showing appreciation for girls, and if they're turning up to training consistently, and it's making them feel positive about it all as well. And yeah, just those conversations you have at half time and before a match, after a match, and just reinforcing what has actually gone well, as opposed to let's not focus on the result sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. You moved back to Jersey, and obviously you looked into coming and playing in Jersey and what have you. How was that, first of all, first coming in to a new environment in Jersey as well?
Yeah, so when I moved back, it was still very male dominated. There were a couple of ladies which I got to know, um, but and I totally see why the ladies do it now. They're like, oh, I don't want to play with a man who looks really aggressive, and I can totally sympathize with them. Like I do see what they mean. Um, so I would go every now and again, and I'd message my friend and be like, "Are you going training tonight?" And be like, "Yeah, let's go, let's go." Or then it only took one of us to be like, "Oh, I can't make it tonight," and then we'd be like, "Yeah, no, okay, I won't go either." So there was no consistency in me going to water polo. Yeah, it's only in recent years I'd say that I've been a lot better and gone to training a lot more often.
Yeah.
So yeah.
How tough was that? Obviously, speaking about the ladies' games now, and you've seen it grow over the years, which we'll come on to. But how tough was that? Obviously, you enjoyed the sport, you loved the sport, but you weren't kind of overly keen to go just because there wasn't enough ladies back then. How tough was that for you?
Yeah, I think it's probably also a confidence thing as well. You just think, oh, I'm not as good as the men, so you know, they're not going to think I'm very good. I'm just not going to go. But actually, it's the total opposite. Now, when I look at it, um, they probably just wanted more members and more ladies. But also because there weren't enough ladies, we couldn't get a team together for a game against another team. Whereas all the men have options to play some French teams, English teams. So it kind of felt as if there was nothing to train for or to go to training in preparation for.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, that didn't really help the motivation.
yeah. And obviously, you mentioned before about now there are ladies who are coming consistently, and you're getting to know them, and you're enjoying playing with them. So, how much has it progressed and over the years in terms of ladies' game and numbers, and also improvement player wise in quality as well?
Yeah, so I think post COVID, we were really keen to kind of boost the club and get it back to a good place because speaking to some of the older guys back in like the 1980s, the club was huge. And they used to play games regularly up at Fort Regent. And, you know, all of that has kind of just fallen away over the years. So, yeah, post COVID, when we were able to get back in the pool and get pool time back, we focused on the juniors to start with. So that's about 2 years ago now that we really channeled our efforts into the juniors. And that was really good. We got quite a mix of boys and girls. So that's been really successful. And some of the seniors have like go down and help with coaching. Some of the guys have actually gone away and done their coaching qualifications. So yeah, really, really good. That's growing. And then word gets around at school, like their friends, you know, they turn up the next week and they're like, oh, can my friend join in? So that's been really good just to see kind of, although we put a lot out on social media, just word of mouth has helped as well.
Mm.
So yeah, that's really good. And then yeah, our focus then turned to ladies because we were like, yeah, we don't have many ladies. Like we would like to get a ladies team together. Um, so we were really fortunate to get some funding through, I think it was the Channel Islands Lottery and the Sport Foundation. So that allowed us to get the pool time. And that sort of paid for the pool time in the summer. So we did a 6 week like free trial and again put the word out on social media. Some of the guys were able to give up their time and coach, which again we were so grateful for. Yeah, and those sessions were really successful. And what we found as well is it's some of the mums of the juniors that come
Yeah,
on Saturday were like, oh, I'm going to give it a go. So that's been really nice. Yeah, and then mums, daughters come as well. So it's almost turned into like a little family thing, a social thing. But yeah, no, it's that 6 weeks was really, really successful. Put the word out there, kind of raised the profile of water polo. As the 6 weeks came to an end, we were saying, oh yeah, it goes back to our normal sessions now because the schools are going back. Da, 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 da. But then the lady, some of them were sort of saying, "Oh, I don't want to play with the men." And we were like, "Oh," as committee, we were like, "Right, we really need to address this. Like, what can we do?" So we spoke with Aquasplash about call time, spoke to the guys, shifted our training times around a bit, and we were able to have a ladies only session, which I think really did help kind of keep the enthusiasm, because we're like, yeah, we've managed to do this for you, so let's keep it going. And yeah, some of them have really stuck with it, and it's been really nice to see. And definitely, I mean, looking back to September now, the improvements we've made, and like our coaches as well, the guys that have been watching us every week, they're like, yeah, you're showing so much more game awareness. You've got a better idea of, throwing and passing, defending, attacking. There's just so much, and the improvements have
Yeah.
been so good.
Yeah. You mentioned the word family and things in that description of that story, but how much of a family you're talking about? The boys helping out as well, then the whole community coming together, kind of building what you're building there. So how good is that feeling to see that water polo kind of family grow and grow?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's really nice. Like you look at the numbers we're getting now, and it's great to see like the club looking really healthy again in terms of numbers and people that we're getting down to training, and just the general interest. And I think obviously social media is such a big thing now as well, and getting that engagement, not just locally but out in the UK as well, and France, because we play some French teams, so we've got some good links with those as well. So we go there, they come here. So yeah, it's yeah, really
Good.
nice.
No, good. One thing I did want to touch on for yourself personally, obviously you play at Aquasplash, you mentioned it a lot, but half the par is becoming more and more of an option again, which is great to see. What do you enjoy more, the outdoor, the indoor water polo?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think for like proper competitive games, I think indoor is probably better, just because you're then not exposed to the elements so much. But having said that, in the summer when it's really nice weather, we can set up the pitch at half day par, and even if it's just a friendly match, it's again that's really nice, and it raises the profile because people are just there having a day out with their families or their friends, and they see what's going on and they come and watch, and then they'll come up to us and ask questions. So that's been really good as well for just getting people to understand or know what water polo is. And then I think, yeah, a few of them are like, oh, can I have a go? When the game's finished or our little friendly's finished, they'll jump in and throw the balls around. So it's just letting people have a go and see what it's all about.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the thing with all sports, and it's good.
Mm,
I used to love watching water polo down half the park.
yeah.
I've not managed to go back since it's been brought back, but I remember watching it as a kid and loving it, and yeah, it was really
Yeah,
good. Um,
it's
what was I gonna say? Games wise, in terms of ladies as well, what kind of is in the pipeline? What would you like to happen in terms of potential games and what have you?
yeah. So we've got our big summer tournament coming up. So we're actually going to be able to have ladies games against other ladies teams. But I mean, in the meantime, if we can set up a friendly with Guernsey, or like a UK team, that would be really, really good. Logistically, may not be possible, but at least we do have our summer tournament coming up. So we're going to have, I think it's 8 visiting teams, possibly 7. But yeah, and of varying standards. So that will be really good, and we'll be able to play against them. And I think for a lot of our girls as well, it will just be game experience. So we might not be the best, we may not win all our matches, but just being able to get in and experience a game against other ladies' teams, I think that's going to be such a good experience for our local ladies.
Yeah, yeah. That was going to be a question I was going to ask then, and you kind of went on it already. But the experience of games, how much does that improve? Obviously, you've had the experience of games yourself, but how much does it improve your water polo kind of technique and game kind of knowledge? You talked about it before, like the boys are saying your game knowledge is improving, but how good are actual games for that?
Yeah, do you know what? They're really good because actually in training you can try and emulate some of the things that's going to happen in a game, but you can't always do that. Um, so if we've got enough numbers at training, we'll try and go into like a little game at the end. Um, and then every couple of weeks we'll try and do a joint like men's and ladies game. And I remember after the first one we did with the ladies, I was chatting to some of them at the end. So like, oh, so how did you find that? And they're like, yeah, that was really good. But because you're in that sort of training environment, although it still looked like a little game, the coaches have got the ability to stop the game, explain why you've maybe been pulled up for a foul, and kind of what you should and shouldn't do. And so, yeah, just learning, it's all those little things you learn as you go along. And the rules as well. That's again, like I said at the start, I'm still not 100% sure on all the rules. But it's just as things come up in a game, that's where you pick up the most knowledge. So although initially some of the ladies were a bit scared or apprehensive to go in against playing some of the men, they found it really, really beneficial. So yeah, definitely that game experience, and the more we can get, the better.
Yeah, definitely. Before I ask the last kind of questions on the ladies side of things, just want to touch on the men and how are they doing? How are they growing as well? And how's water polo for the men's side going in Jersey?
Yeah, so men's is going really well as well. So like I said about our juniors, as those juniors have actually got older and progressed, when they sort of reach 15, 16, we encourage them to come down to the senior sessions as well. Just again, they can get more game time and more experience playing with sort of the stronger guys. So that's been really good because we have seen them progress into the seniors. And then the men have gone away and played a couple of games against the French teams. They went to a tournament in the Netherlands back in the summer, so they really enjoyed that. And actually, the men are away this coming weekend in Hampshire. It's part of a Hampshire league, so they're playing some of the teams sort of along the south coast. So they've been training quite hard for that as well.
Yeah. How amazing would that be for the ladies' side, obviously, to go away to Hampshire to all these places that you just mentioned as well? Is that a goal for you as well?
Yeah, I think long term that would be really nice to have that sort of similar sort of thing, and then it gives us, like I said earlier, it gives us purpose and for us to continue training and have that enthusiasm. And then yeah, it gives us something to aim for, and I think it would be really good to have a strong ladies team as well, and just show the
Yeah,
island what we can do.
yeah, absolutely. Kind of the next, I kind of asked the question there, but next kind of question I was going to ask was, what are your goals, kind of in the near future, I guess, as well? Because you mentioned the long term there, but near future, what are the goals for ladies water polo?
Yeah, so I think I've obviously mentioned our tournament quite a lot. So I think it's just really focusing on that, and being able to field a good, strong team. I think we are actually doing a joint team with Guernsey, just because they have the same problems as us, can't get a full ladies team together. But that would be really good because we can draw on some of their strengths, and work together as a team. I don't think we're being quite so strict with numbers, like how many people are coming over and stuff. So, if we've got 20 or so between Jersey and Guernsey, as long as we've only got that 7 in the water, I think we're not going to be too strict.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely just seeing what we can do. And like I said, with the Hampshires as well, we could actually form a Channel Island team, just pulling on all our strengths. So yeah, potentially that.
Definitely. Nah, good. When is that tournament? We should plug it date wise as well.
So it is July the 20th and 21st. so yeah, it's like 2 days, Saturday, Sunday, and it's all the men's teams, all the women's teams, and it's kind of like a round robin type. We're going to be quite short on time, but we've worked it all out. We can fit it in, and yeah, that's going to be at Half Day Par. So we've, again, logistically, we had to look at all the tides and everything to make sure we could fit it. But yeah, we are there. So yeah, 20th, 21st of July, and yeah, we're going to encourage lots of people to come down, past players as well, families, and yeah, we're being sponsored by Pitcher and McCain, and actually that again is that family element, because I think Mr. Pitcher used to play back in the day, and now his sons play as well, so they're going to hopefully be there on the day too. So yeah, really, really good. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, should be good. Final kind of question from me today. For ladies who might be watching this, who might see the post and what have you, why should they join water polo, and how can they contact you, and when do you train? I guess are the three main questions there.
Yeah, so I think you should join because it's a team sport. Like from when I used to swim, if you're just swimming on your own, it can be quite individual. So by doing water polo, it just kind of opens it up. You've got that team element. You get to know a bunch of other ladies, all ages, experiences. So that's like a really nice element to it, because we've all sort of come in from different angles, but ultimately we're all playing the same game and we're working together. And you can find us on social media. So Facebook, if you just search Jersey Waterpolo Association, our page should come up. On Instagram, we're at JSY Polo, and again, we should come up. And then on our website as well, it's jsypolo.com, and then like all the email contact details are on there. Who's on committee, that kind of thing. So you'll see a nice picture of me, and all the others that are on committee as well. So yeah, and training's on a Wednesday at 7:30 to 8:30 is the ladies only. You can join in with the men. The men train immediately after us at 8:30, and then juniors. If anyone wants to come to juniors, we've got our junior sessions on a Saturday. Under 12s is at 4 p.m, and then under 16s is at 5 p.m.
Amazing.
All at Aquasplash. All at Aquasplash.
Amazing, brilliantly summed up there. One more question, and it's more direct to you. What are your kind of goals going forward in sport? Obviously, you took on big challenges. You love water polo. You want to continue progressing in water polo, obviously. But what are your kind of goals, would you say, going forward?
I'm currently injured from running, so not to get injured is quite a key one. But yeah, no, obviously, like just returning to running. I do want to do Jersey Marathon again this year and hopefully nail that sub-4. Swimming, I've got a few little challenges, some crazy things coming up. But again, it's I find now, because especially in swimming, I've done a lot of the big swims. I just want to enjoy it, and like be able to go out for a swim in the summer in the sea. But yeah, like I set myself little challenges or races that I go away to the UK and do. So yeah, at the moment, I think it's more for enjoyment. But don't get me wrong, I do love a race.
No, really good, really good. Thank you for coming on today, Alice. This has been brilliant, and been a brilliant insight into a lot of things: swimming, running, and especially water polo. And really, hopefully, put the sport out there, because it's brilliant, and it's a great watch as well if people even just want to go and watch it. So
yeah, it is. Yeah, fun to watch.
Thank you for coming on, and thank you for your time.
No problem. Thank you.
Brilliant. That was another episode of Sportscast Jersey. Thank you to those who have watched or listened to this episode. Another episode is coming soon.